All right, guys, sorry about that. We had some serious stream troubles this morning. Learned a couple of things. Number one, update Streamlabs before 10 minutes before you start. And then number two, if you set up a stream and set up a live stream on your mobile device, you have to stream it on your mobile device. It won't allow you to live stream with your software later on. So that's what happened this morning. So I had to reset up the entire stream and then put it into Streamlabs, which wanted to update, and it became a thing. So learning as we go. First member stream is a learning experience. Thanks for being flexible. Yeah, not very convenient at all, man. Not at all. But yeah, we're all good now, I think. So as long as you guys can see me, hear me, we've got music going, that kind of thing, then we should be fine. All right, I know that folks are probably still coming over from the other stream. I'm leaving that one up for now so that it kind of redirects folks this way, but I probably should delete that here pretty soon so we don't confuse people. All right, so we got rid of that one. Should only be this stream right now for you all. But it is a Friday. I took the day off just because I wanted to. I wanted to get ahead on a couple of these projects. I'm feeling the crunch of the month to have the V0 done, have the Prusa wire done. Plus I have another big print going on to fill an order, and I just need to play catch up. So took the day off to do all of that stuff. And I feel like my lighting is terrible right now. If we did some of that. I do have like natural light coming through. Hey, good morning, Captain Kern. Good morning, Happy. Good morning, Kegel and Petty. Yeah, I just feel like the white balance is off or something like that. I'm very light. You're a member? I guess so. I guess you got gifted a membership, yeah. Should probably cut the grass at some point. Nah. Buy a goat. Let it cut itself. Framing the new workshop. All right. That sounds pretty cool. Kevin Kernham, have to jump over and check out your stream sometime again. You stream at odd hours for me. I feel bad that I'm not able to come over and catch you live. But I tend to try to go back and like and watch some of it. But I would love to see what new workshop you're working on. Hey, Kitchell, good morning. You were going to stream and then you remembered you were going live? Okay, well, you stream when you want to stream. Don't worry about me. We don't have to work around each other. Yeah, once you get streaming again, yeah. That's the thing I'm a little bit nervous about when I do end up moving from this place. Hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully in the summertime, if I get a promotion at work, I will have to move. And if that happens, I'll probably have to go down and not stream for like a month or two until we get to where we're going and I can unpack and rebuild. No big deal, you're just working on tuning your steppers. Oh, that's cool. Like, are you using TMC Auto Tune, or what do you mean tuning your steppers? Drop an F for all the movers backs? Yeah. Yeah, but that's what they get paid to do, man. So, I mean, we all make choices. Hey, Casey Wood. Thanks for becoming a member. How's the Prusa wire going? Prusa wire is going great. Let me give you a little update on that one. I got some parts over here. So, Let me make some space on the desk. We'll give you the overhead view. I've got a few things going on for the RatRig build, so we've got some parts here for the XY joiners. These are MRW CNC machined joiners to go with the theme of the build. Everything else is MRW, so why not these? And then go in there, and then these are CNC'd hybrid blocks. I'm on the fence whether or not I want to do hybrid. I may just eliminate that as well and just stick with Core XY. I could reuse those steppers on another project. But you asked about Prusa wire. So not until Monday did I get these in. Printed solid is not the quickest at shipping stuff to me for whatever reason. And I just realized we need some more light over here. Let's fix that. There we go. So they're not the quickest at shipping things to me for whatever reason. So this right here takes 8 days to get to me. So I ordered it on Sunday immediately after stream. They arrived Monday. So this is the case and the cover that I needed to be able to finish the electronics, and then we should be into tuning after that. So Prusa wire's going there. I've got one of these. This is a Triple L Plus from Mello. It's a buffer. So there's an extruder with a very tiny motor in here that presses filament through. I feel like I need this because the Bowden tube is so long on the RatRig that there's a lot of friction inside the Bowden tube, and it is maybe creating some issues. So I'm hoping that this will help with that. So I need to install this on there, but the way that this mounts, it's kind of meant to mount flat on a panel, but the Bowden tube goes up to 30-30 extrusion. So I need to make an offset bracket to be able to hold this in place and assist. So working through that. These are my original notes from the build when we first build it. And it's kind of telling me what is plugged in where. And so I need to use this to remove stuff and then make some config changes. So I held on to that. This is also for the Prusa wire. This is the SKR3. So that's got to go in. And then, of course, you guys saw the parts for Inertia Cube sitting there. TMC Auto Tune, yeah. Just getting it figured out and set up. Cool, man. Let me know if you need any help. Shiny, talk to Mr. CEO. Who's Mr. CEO? Yeah. I look, I'm not upset about it. I know that I live sort of out of the way, pretty rural even for California. And so I'm not sweating it, but it does take a little bit to get from printed solid. Most other folks take about 4 days, 5 days to get to me, so I can order stuff on Sunday and it'll be here in time for streaming. But for whatever reason, printed solid just can't get it to me in time. You want one of these? Buy the kit or complete. Happy, so okay, how do I explain it? Where in California? Petty, I'm near Lancaster, California. I didn't get the kit. I bought parts as they came out. So I got the bed arms and the, what else? The hybrid kit, and the motor kit all at the same time. The XY joiners were not available at the time that I ordered the original parts, but they're available now. So I had to buy those separately. So kind of a kit, kind of not. I think you can get everything all together now. Last item you sent quoted 4 days, and you think it took 7? Interesting. Oh, the Mello buffer. Sorry. Let's see. Let's go back over. This is the complete one. So it came out of the box like this. I put the box somewhere over here. So yeah, this is the one. This is the one that I ordered. I've had this for a couple of months. My plan was to build the RatRig on stream, and we did that. And then I was going to put this on after the fact, and I just really never did. I got busy with other projects and stuff. So yeah, it came complete in the box just like this. No wiring, so I need to make cables. I don't even know what these ports are for, so I need to pull up some information on that, but I did want to show this off. This is going to go on. But yeah, it came printed. If you wanted a different color and print your own parts, you could save a few dollars and print everything yourself. I just got lucky that it came with this color on there, because as you can see, there are other options available, and it says that it's random. So who knows what you're going to get when you order one, but yeah, that's that. Your RatRig, when it use toolhead 1 for support, it does the first support base good. When it get to the second support base, it don't put out any more filament while print. Casey, that sucks, man. I would check make sure your extruder is extruding, and check your E-steps on that extruder. Also, there may be, because the Bowden tube is so long, there may be some issues with that as well. You may have too much friction in your Bowden tube that it's not allowing the filament to pull through. So I would double check all that stuff. What else? I guess we should get down to it. I think I need to pull out my workbench from the wall a little bit. This machine is so wide and heavy and tall that I couldn't get it in frame, so I had to remove and reinstall my toolbox camera just to be able to get it in shot. So this is the best shot that I could get. This is kind of a top down, and that is terrible. It did not look so bad earlier. Let me redo this here. That's very blue. Okay, that's better. I don't know why that turned so blue. Yeah, bigger inner diameter, Bowden helps. Yeah, Petty, just the way that things are routed, right? So I'll see if I can demonstrate this on the printer. So down here, actually this is in the way. Let me turn this off real quick. So down here, this is your spool holder. And I feel like that's mirrored for some reason. It is. One second, your picture is off here. There we go. That's your actual picture. Okay. So over here, this is where your spool holder is. I know that's kind of barely in frame there, but that's kind of how it is. From here, you go back this way, all the way to the end of the frame, and then it's up. It's up, and it's across, and then loops down into the thing. So that's probably a 2 meter long, 2.5 meter long Bowden tube. And there's so much friction in there, and that's actually 3 millimeter inner diameter tube. But even for that, I had a lot of friction to where I felt like I needed the triple L plus. You can see it, that's kind of wonky. I know, that's how they do it. It sucks, but that's how it is. So I need to get in here and tear apart all of the things to be able to get this going. So what I did was, my plan is to kind of go in reverse on all this stuff. So essentially what we're going to do is start at 63 on the toolhead guide for the RatRig. So this is part 9 of the build manual, and it sounds like I'm just uninstalling T1. So T0 we're going to keep. That's going to be the main toolhead, and we'll keep the tube in exactly like it is. All I'm doing today is removing T1, removing that extra carriage off the rail, and probably installing the XY joiners that we have, because I'm going to have to take the entire gantry off to get that extra carriage off of there. So that's my plan. So I'm completely going away from IDEX on this thing. I really couldn't get it to work. I'm considering removing the hybrid system. I think for now, initially, I'll just deactivate it by removing the belts, and I'll keep the motors and stuff in place. Tune everything that way as just a general core XY, and then add on the hybrid system again. to see if I can tune it that way. If the hybrid system continues to cause issues for me, then I will probably remove that as well. I can repurpose those motors into an all-wheel drive build that I'm considering. So if you remember on, what was it, Sunday, we looked at 2 separate all-wheel drive kits, one from Vitali and one from LDO. And both of those are pretty nice bits of kit there. And so I could use those motors on there, and that would, you know, help me out from having to buy more. Hey, Digital Dragon, thanks for becoming a member. That's awesome. Thank you so much. So we're just rebuilding the RatRig today. I'm going from an IDEX down to single tool head. I know that you have a RatRig. Did you see a lot of issues with IDEX and the hybrid system? Because I cannot get this thing to print worth a damn. Yeah, I'm ditching the IDEX. It's not producing good prints for me. And my input shaping is absolutely terrible. I've spent enough hours on it that I'm frustrated with it, and I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm gonna take it down to single tool head. I'll repurpose all the parts from the tool head. I'm considering ditching the hybrid system as well. I'm thinking that it's adding additional, I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it, motion system complexity to the y-axis, and it's really trashing my y-axis stuff. Yeah, so you're kind of saying the same. Not good luck with the IDEX. Input shaping went to crap in one of the tool heads. Yeah, so Digital Dragon, I'm seeing the same thing. I know in my brain that there's an all-wheel drive mod out there. I'm considering doing that instead of IDEX. And so I could repurpose the hybrid motors into the all-wheel drive portion of the build, and that would do much better for me. I've had good luck with all-wheel drive systems, and so having a 3030 framed V2 with all-wheel drive and a tube, we can make this thing really chooch. RatRig hybrid, IDEX 2, yeah. Toss the tool head on the V-Chunk or the V-Minion. Well, if I end up getting rid of that V-Minion, I don't want to get rid of another tube. I'd rather put that tube on my 350 Trident. The 350 Trident is also all-wheel drive. So it makes sense there where you have a large build area, high flow capable hot end. I would really love just to repurpose this tube over there. But boy, this thing is huge. Digital Dragon, I think yours is a 400. Mine is a 300, and it's a lot. Yeah, my 300 is quite... Oh, yours is a 300 as well? Yeah, my 300 barely fits on my workbench. The top it's on is only 24 inches, but then my granite slab is, I don't know, maybe 30 inches. And so with it sitting on top of the granite slab, the feet still halfway hang over on both the front and the back. So I couldn't even get it in shot. Like, I had to move my camera way up to the ceiling as high as it could go just to be able to get like a top-down shot on this thing. But I'm still feeling like to be able to get in here, I need to stand on a step stool. I mean, I'm 5'11", and this thing is taller, up here is taller than my head by like an inch. So it's gonna be fun today. First things first, though, I am gonna remove these panels. One of the mods I did out the gate is, I know you can't see it here, so let's move this camera on my front door. This is gonna be hard to see. I chose not to do the VHB tape. I had Happy cut all my panels for me, and so thinking through the build process, I had him cut some holes inside the front door panel so I could have actual bolt-through hinges on the front doors instead of VHB tape. So those are actually really nice versus what it would have been if I stuck to stock. Hey, Raj D. Oh, and by the way, if you guys have not heard or you weren't here Sunday, that raffle for the V0 and the Prusa wire is live. So if you're looking to get tickets, tickets are available. 1 for $10 and what, 6 for $50. So if you want to get in on taking home a V0 or a Prusa wire, go get some tickets. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the way that RatRig does their panels. They use M6 hardware and T-nuts to hold panels on. I just prefer, because I'm spoiled now, like panel clips that are easily done without tools. I like the annex style clips to be specific. And these work fine and they're quick, but let's say you don't have the tool available and you need to remove a panel, you're not going to be able to do that. Alright, so there's one giant panel. I'll show you guys the print I was over here making. So I made these just got finished on the bamboos over here. So a couple things. So this is supposed to be a sock, right? And this is going to be part of a trophy. This is in silk gold from, I won't say it's bamboo silk gold. I don't remember. But this is the sock. So this is gigantic. And then you have the other part that just finished on H2D over here is this. So poop emoji. And this is going to go on top. And we're calling this, this is for work, we're calling this the Shit in the Sock Award. Meaning that we didn't have to tell you to do things, you just have your stuff together and you're executing without being told what to do. So we're calling this the Shit in the Sock Award. This already, these two pieces alone are about, I think it was 4 hours for the emoji, and I started this one last night. I think this one was about 13 hours for the sock. So together we're already over 15 hours. And for size, let's look at those together are already 300 millimeters tall. Yeah, about 300 millimeters tall. And I'm printing the base right now on the FL Sun. And the base is another 100 millimeters tall. So it'll be roughly 20 inches when all said and done. And I'll make sure I post a shot on the members only chat for you guys when we get done. But that's what that's going to be. I'm glad that did not fail because I have 0 gold filament left. And what I do have left on that spool is not enough to restart. That's some of the stuff we've been working on. That's one of the orders. I've got a backlog of Halloween stuff to do as well. Probably like most of you. Yeah, so the sock was 14 hours actually, and the poop thing was 4. So we're at 18 hours of printing for those two pieces. And then now, printing a bunch of stuff for the local schools here, a bunch of like little Halloween gift type stuff, because I don't give away candy on Halloween. I'd rather much do what's it called, prints, like little flexi toys and stuff like that instead of candy. Sorry, I'm just looking for the right tools here. Hey Jeremy, good morning. That's like a construction meme. Sure. Is the raffle worldwide? Raj D, it's US only. and good morning. It's US only, unfortunately, because shipping printers is tough. And trying to get those international is not really going to work out. So, hey Martin, good morning. I'm not going to be able to get to that other panel over there, but the way that this printer is sitting, it doesn't really matter. I have to rotate this thing, and I'll tell you, it was backbreaking to get it up on the bench last night. I was already tired and exhausted from work, and it was pretty late, and I'm like, shit, I gotta get set up for the stream. So I come out here, I have to move the X1 Carbon out of the way. Luckily, it's on that Panda stand, so it's got wheels now, which is great. If you don't have one, highly recommend it. Move that out of the way just to access where the RatRig is kind of shoved in the corner. And then picking this bad boy up to put on this workbench was backbreaking. Okay, so like I said, we're going to disable the XY. Sorry, not the XY, what's it called? The hybrid system. And the way that I'm going to do that is just by removing the belts. Whoa! My stand is not the nicest. Dang, if I could just grab the right tool today, that would be awesome. So Jeremy, what's new, man? You guys missed stream on Tuesday. I had to sit around and talk to my wife because of you guys. I'm just trying to get these loosened up here. So if you're responding in chat, I'll catch you here in a minute. Just want these to be as loose as possible. Yeah, the all-wheel drive system I was talking about for this is a replacement for these front tensioners. And they're all printed. I would love for them to not be printed, but if we end up going that route, it's the only way it goes right now. There's probably another system that uses like sheet cut motor mounts or something, and I'm sure those are fine, but aesthetically I don't care for that. Aesthetically I like the printed version instead of the plate mounts. They just look, I don't know, like an add-on to me. And I'm definitely not printing them from nylon like it suggests. Alright, so that should allow me to pull that out of there. Cool, there's one belt disabled. We'll just hold on to that for later. I got the little one there with it. Nice. Picked her up on Tuesday and was on the road all day. Got all the cool folks here this morning? Yeah, we should all be working. We should all be working, but instead we're 3D printer talking. Which is more fun than work anyway. Alright. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult to see, I think. Yeah, one thing I'm remembering right now when I built this was that it is a lot of different hardware. The BOM for this thing was massive, and a lot of hardware that you don't normally use on a 3D printer. So like M6s and M8s and things like that, M4s. It's just really different, which made it interesting because when you build the same stuff all the time, it's less interesting, but it means that you don't have spares in stock. And they don't give you very many spares with this kit. Alright, so that is the hybrid system disabled. I think now we can look at removing this tool head. Headed to get some coffee and a haircut with the mini-me. Good time, man. Yeah, I didn't realize you gave your kid coffee. But mine likes coffee too. Working and lurking. Appreciate that. Mike, good morning. Tearing down the IDEX system and taking it back to just a standard single tool head. Okay, so it looks like we're going to remove the tool board. And then the vertical strain relief, extruder, front, in stops, hot end parts, hot end, plate, and then what, I guess belts, removing tensioners. Okay. I did reprint parts because I think the IDEX parts are different than the standard Core XY parts. So I reprinted those just in case. I'm pretty sure I need them, but we'll see. I think some of the stuff will translate, like the fan duct and whatnot. I think that is still able to be used. This portion here, this front, I don't even know what you call it, front fan mount section, I think that is different because you need 2 places to secure your belts. Yeah, so everything else seems pretty standard, straightforward. Just removing components. And I think I'll pause right here because I'm gonna get confused on that. But either way, I think that's what we're gonna do next. So it's difficult to see chat while up on a stand and looking at, you know, the top of the printer. So if I miss your chat, I'll try to remember to come over and talk every once in a while to you all. But please, if I miss you, just say again whatever you were trying to say. All right, a couple zip ties on there I need to cut. Oh, yeah, I was kind of disappointed to build such a high-dollar machine and then to have it not work as advertised even after tens of hours of tinkering. Usually when I build a printer, you have to do some tuning. So there's an expectation that you're going to spend another 8 to 10 hours tuning a printer, depending on how exact you want to get with it, right? But for whatever reason on this guy, I did maybe 30 hours of screwing around with it, tweaking stuff, trying to get it to go, and I got it as good as I could, and it still just wasn't up to par with the IDEX. And what I don't know is if that is due to the hybrid system or if it's due to the IDEX system. And so it's a lot of work just to go back and undo all this stuff. Like we put, I don't know how many hours into building an IDEX, and then you still have to put more time to tear it back down and convert it back to standard. So that's unfortunate. I hope that whoever makes the decisions to design these things, they take a lesson. That is really difficult to get out of there. One of those connections just doesn't want to move. So we're going to leave you in place for now. Alright, that should be enough to get the tool head board out. We can repurpose that. Let's see what you guys are saying. Your hybrid system worked great and had the best input shaper you've ever seen. The IDEX is where things went wonky. Okay. I appreciate that, Luke. Like I said, what my plan is I want to first take the extra tool head off. Whoa, damn, I need a better stool. I almost busted my ass twice. But Yeah, my plan is to just remove this extra tool head, go down to single. I'll run hybrid and tune that in and see if that works. I do have one question. For your tuning process, Luke, did you run Core XY first and then add the hybrid system and tune again? Or did you just install everything first and tune hybrid from the start? I've seen both suggestions on the RatRig forum, and I don't know which one is correct. Jeez, I wish I had fingernails right now. One of those, oh man, one of those JST connections is tight as hell. It won't come out of there. I'm afraid I'm gonna break a wire if I pull on it. Whew. What do I need? Small screwdriver to undo the heater. And Luke as well, Digital Dragon. What tool heads? Sorry, not tool head. Hot ends are you running on your RatRig? Alright, looks like that's connected to the in-stop, so let's take that off. Alright. Well, good. Now we got an extra EBB 42. And this is a wire. I can remove that and unclip some things. I'll probably leave most of that extra Bowden system in there just because I don't want to have to store it or anything, but I will remove this upper tube. I've got mine bisected for ease, and so this upper one we can just disconnect from back here on the other part. Just realized the camera needs to move a little bit. Let me help you out here. Yeah, so this connection back here, this will give me easy access to remove that upper Bowden tube. I'm gonna leave the lower portion in. I did get the what's it called, Rat Pack installed, the filter. Running B2.5 and Rapido 2. Okay. All right, Jeremy, see you, buddy. Get a haircut for tomorrow, and then hopefully you are streaming tomorrow. If you are, I'll see you over there after I get done with my ruck. I gotta do something like 10 or 12 miles tomorrow. Okay, that is that. We've got all of the wiring done. I can remove this later because I need to do some electronic stuff and unplug a lot of things. I also tried to do 48 volts on this, and I believe that the motors were trying to pull too much power for the single mellow volt-up board that I was using, and that was me not really paying attention to what I was doing. I don't think that impacted the input shaping because I told the sorry, it's a Kraken. I told the Kraken to use 24 volts anyway, so I don't think that really affected it, but it's something that I just recognized. I was really hoping that this thing would work well. But I am excited to have another Orbiter 2 available. Could definitely put that to use. It is my favorite extruder, I think. Orbiter 2. And now that we have the 2.5, it's supposed to be even better. I don't know, I don't see much of a difference between the 2 and the 2.5. But I like that it has the inbuilt filament sensor. You just add a few macros that they provide for you, and now you can get loading, unloading, and all that stuff with the filament sensor. It makes using it very, very nice. What is happening? Oh, there's another one here. Yeah, I forgot how much hardware there is on this thing. Here we go. There's our orbiter 2.5. Just recover that hardware. There we go. Orbiter 2.5. We'll use that later. Yep, live tomorrow. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, they did say remove the end stop, so we'll do that. And then there's one more back here. I know it's hard for me to see, so it's got to be hard for you all to kind of see what's going on. So we'll put all that in there. I think that is my fan. Alright, so should be able to get the rest of this off. Yeah, I was also a little bit concerned that they would cheap out on the hardware. They give you that oxide, black oxide steel hardware. I feel like for the price of this kit, you should get either, you know, at the very least some chrome plated hardware, or if not that, it'd be better if you get the black nickel coated stuff. So a little disappointed in that. Come on. There we go. Alright, so we can just hold on to that, hold on to that. And these have, oh, what is that? That's that super flathead stuff, so I need a 2mm driver for those. Just checking on chat to make sure I'm keeping up with you guys. So how's everybody's week been? Mine has not been that fun. I'm dealing with a problem child at work. There's our 4028 fan. Nidec Ultra Flow 4028 12-volt fan. Yeah, but I'm dealing with this problem child at work that just refuses to get right. Which is unfortunate, but you know how it is. Anybody affected by this shutdown? That's sort of been the topic of conversation at my job for the last few days. I mean, and rightly so. We are super affected by it, so you are? John, what do you do? And how are you affected? You had one 2017 Accord with an ADAS issue, been through a couple shops. At one for over a month. Holy crap. Hoping for a good outcome. Well, I mean, there's only one outcome that can happen, and that's, you know, reopen the government. Like, anything else is just not acceptable. Last time we did this, it was what, 35 days? 35 days where people aren't getting paid, and that sucks for a lot of people. Especially when it's already hard out there, you know. A lot of our folks at my job are civilians as well, and they, you know, everybody's furloughed, so Nobody's getting paid and everybody's sitting at home with nothing to do, and that sucks for a lot of reasons. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would appreciate the time off, but not if I'm not getting paid. Are you gonna come out of here or what? There we go. There's our tube. Basically unused because I couldn't even get T0 to work, so I don't even think that I tried doing IDEX anything. So that was fun. What else? I think I need to do this. Take this off of here. Yeah, these are the plates from Luke's lab. I want to say Fabrico has these as well, but you can't add a tube to a RatRig without changing out this mounting plate, and so this is a steel cut plate here. What else am I hanging on to? Oh, this guy. I'll catch your comment here in a second, John. I see you chatting. Hey, Mr. E, I see you popped in. I can't really see what you're saying yet, but I'll get to you here in a second. Let me take this bracket off. All right, there we go. We're separated. Yay! All right, so that's off. Rear is off, and then we just got to remove that belt. And it should be XY joiners after that. You rather not say on chat? All good. It came in late. What is this again? A RatRig? John, yes, it's a RatRig. I'm going from an IDEX toolhead down to a single toolhead because I was having issues tuning it. And so we're just going to go to what makes sense. I think I'll keep the hybrid system at first. But for now, we'll just go single toolhead and remove the IDEX. Mr. E, that's what we're doing. We're redoing the gantry on the RatRig. Trying not to kill myself as I step up on the what am I doing? As I step on the stool here. This thing is so tall, it's over my head once it's up on the workbench. And so it's a little harder to work on this machine than others. I wish I could have it on the floor and still be able to get you guys a good shot. I just don't have the setup for that. Had I thought about this a lot earlier and started working on setting up the stream a lot earlier, I might have been able to find something that works, but yeah, I failed. Yeah, this part here, these fan duct parts are PPS carbon fiber. I was worried about melty ducts being so close to a tube. That heater is, I think, a 100-watt heater. So being so close to come on. Being so close to a tube, I was worried about it melting. Now this belt is just really stuck in there. The new ducts I printed from ABS, and I'm gonna chance it and try to reuse the stuff that we have on here. Well, not this particular one, because we're removing this one, but the T1 is going to stay the same. So, but I did reprint ducts just in case I needed it. We'll see if I need it. I don't know how to get... So there's the green part is the tensioner, and it is so wedged in there that I can't get the belt out. And I'm trying to figure out a way to get that out of there. And the only thing I could think of is to use a parallel pliers to grab the belt and just pull on it, and hopefully that pulls that tensioner out. legit doesn't want to budge. I'm afraid of putting too much force on there and like smacking myself in the face. Digital Dragon knows how hard it is to work on the nebula. Maybe that's why you melt your Reaper ducts. Yeah, probably. You need to print them out of something more high temp, probably. If you want some PPS, ducts, Mr. E, just reach out to me. I'll print you some. You just need to tell me which ones you want, like what length you need. I'll print you some ducts. Like, I'm trying to just get the tensioner out of there, but it won't budge. Like, it literally will not move. So, I'm gonna try this other side here. And we'll just, we'll remove it and just pull it all the way out, and I'll work on it on the bench. Oh, of course, that's the wrong size. Why would I ever think that the hardware is all the same? Silly me. Yeah, these are also the MRW CNC'd belt clamps as well, so you don't have to worry about them cracking over time like plastic ducts would. Oh, and then also it goes around the screw. That is a different size, because of course it is. I'm one of those people that just want the same sized hardware on the tool head. Like, I shouldn't have to use 3 different tools for the hardware on the tool head. It's unnecessary and it's frustrating. If there's any complaint that I have, that is, it's the amount of just different hardware all over the place. Everything from the XY motors to the tool head to the gantry uses 3 different sizes of hardware. It's just, it's too much. All right, it should be enough to get that out of there. Yep, cool. So we'll do this on the workbench later. We'll save all that hardware for a different build. We need to pull this extra carriage off of here, and so to do that, I got to take the rail off. I believe I can... I'm going to have to remove all the belts anyway. And so I just want to take this one out of here. I can leave the upper belt, I believe. I know that I'm going to have to redo this for just the Core XY. I'm probably going to have to replace some parts on the back of this tool head we're keeping, but I think I can do that by not taking apart everything. I'm hoping I can just keep most of it in place. And we'll remove the belt out of that part here in a bit. That's why you love your Reaper? You need a custom table just for it? Yeah. Smack it around like it owes you money. You had to work on the Nebula frame on the floor. The frame is just as tall as the V-Core. I probably should do that, but it is a heavy bastard. I should probably do that. I think I have just enough maneuver space. Let me measure this out. This might make my life easier and a little bit faster. So this printer is width-wise right about 2 feet wide, or 600 millimeters. My aisleway, where I could put it, is, and then I'd still have to like step around it and stuff. I think I could put it right here. Let's see. Let me see if I can put this on the floor. I'll have to move the camera and stuff too, though. I'll try to get you the best shot I can. But I should have done this. Let's see. Let me close the doors, and we'll take those closed so I don't get hit in the face. But doing this on the floor is probably safer, so I don't continue to try to fall off of my step stool there. But also maybe I can get a couple better shots for you all. Alright, Ignore my grunting as I try to take this gigantic beast off of the workbench. So it's at waist height. I need to get it down to floor height without dropping it. Actually, so I don't huff and puff too much in the mic, I'm gonna mute you guys just here for a second, and then we'll get a better camera for you. Okay, whew, I didn't die. So now what I need to do is just create some space to get around and like sort of move this thing. I've got sort of like a little walkway here that's only, I don't know, maybe 2.5 feet wide. And trying to get through there right now with the machine in the ways is not great. So I need to adjust this camera. You can see what I was standing on. It's this bucket with a lid over here, but I can't even get past this thing. Got the FL Sun. I wonder if I could slide this back at all. Well, there goes that. Interesting. That was fun. Saw parts fly everywhere. Only the best for you all. Okay. I can sort of squeeze around that thing. Let me pick up my mess and we'll adjust the camera a little bit. I don't know what I dropped. Oh, some filament off the top shelf. I can move this delta back a touch. Okay. Should be good to go now. Let me move some stuff out of the way. Okay. I think we're good. I can access a little better, but I feel like my body's gonna block much of your view here. Whew, what did I break? I didn't break anything. I moved the filament rack, and when doing so, it knocked a spool of filament off the top of the rack, and then that landed on top of my delta where I had some parts. So that's what happened. Gonna move a camera. Hopefully you don't get sick here, but I'll do my best to minimize. Okay, we can sort of see what's happening. Let's see if you can move this. Parts fly around. Oops. Yeah. Somebody clipped that. Uh-oh. Are we not being able to stay? Let's try some of that. Yeah, I don't know if there's enough tension in this. So let me try once more here. Is that pretty good? Kind of see what's going on. Yeah, sorry I don't have 32 cameras hanging out to be able to do things, but I think you guys can see pretty well what we're working on. This is probably a lot safer for me too to move around. But yeah, there's parts and pieces everywhere now. And it's blocking my tool drawer, but that's okay. Oh, she's a big girl. All right, so I can take these off. Let's remove this Bowden tube out of here. Right, there's some extra tube now. I can remove this guy. And I don't remember what hardware I used. This is, again, one of those frustrating things where there's 42 different types of hardware. What is happening? I don't know what's going on. We're just gonna brute force this. I might just end up breaking this part off of here because I can't get a tool on it. It's just plastic anyway, it'll be fine. There we go. Yeah, that ended up cracking anyway. So let's see. It was cracked anyway when installing it, so probably best to take that off and replace. I'm just noticing the other one is also cracked, so we'll have to reprint some parts. I know for sure that I need to take all this wiring out of here, and we'll get to that. What else? Carriage needs to come out. Gantry needs to come out. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take this other belt off. And then I'll tell you what, we'll bring it up onto the workbench and disassemble, repack, and redo things over here where it's actually a little more conducive to doing stuff. Let me just clear off the workbench a little bit. Put that here. And yeah, all right. So next I believe we need to just remove these belts. And if I remember right, this, I'm just going to, yeah, let's do it this way. Let's unplug the Bowden tube and remove that guy. And then we'll take this guy off just to make it easy. And then we need to unplug things. Like that. And some zip ties to cut. Alright. But here's the good news, we didn't drop it. Good news is we did not drop it. Thought I might though. Like I got into like a half squat trying to get it down off the workbench. And I was sitting there like, oh no, this is gonna be bad. And I was able to like slide it down and tore up my shins a little bit. But it should be fine. So just those, and then we've got the beacon connected at the bottom. Can't even see that. Like how do I disconnect the beacon? Can't even see the beacon. Just move the bed down a little bit. I think I might just, because I can't get to the connector with my fingers, I don't think. Let's move the bed down some more. Let's see if I could just, yeah, I think there's like a locking connector on there, but I can't access it, so I may have to just remove the beacon. But in the meantime, what else can I do? What's still connected here? Cable, so one cable. There's a USB-C cable. No, that's the beacon. Oh, there we go. There it is. That guy. Okay, so disconnected there. And then there's one connection for, I forget what that is, like the hot end fan or something. How do I get that out? I know I'm blocking like your whole view, but I need to right now. There we go. It's just the one white cable that comes through. And then from there, just realized I'm gonna have to remove, I don't want to do that. Okay, trying to think this through. Let's try this belt here. Well, wrong tool, because of course it is. Alright, let's just take the belt off. I should be able to remove the entire gantry after that. It's all about that Big Tree T turbo CPAP. Might be able to do that. I'm gonna do a CPAP on the next build. Anyone using the mellow blower? I have a mellow blower. I don't necessarily have a project for it. There is a project I'm working on that calls for it, but I chose to go the 5015 version instead. I don't know. I'm not a fan of CPAP on Core XY machines. I think it adds too much complexity to the blower. Like to the cooling, and then your input shaping is impacted a lot. Alright, there's our belt number 2. Let's try to pull that through everything. Pull that through that guy there. Alright, so there's the belt. I believe I can just remove the whole gantry, but this wiring needs to be changed. And to do that, I need to remove this beacon out of here, or it's not going to work well for me. Shit. I guess I'm doing something underneath. How can I get to it? Let's see. Get our shorty tool. Bring this all the way down. And I'll just remove the hardware, I think. Damn it. Freaking bed is still like in the way, even though I've got it super low. Alright, there's that one, and then we should be able to remove the beacon off of here. I'm just trying to take the entire gantry out as one piece, work on it on the bench so I'm not cramped over on the floor trying to do all this. There we go. There's the beacon. Alright, so the beacon should be the last thing connected to the harness. There we go. Harness is out. Now, gantry is loose. We've got the belt loose. I should be able to just take the hardware for, I'm out of breath. Stay. The hardware for this just completely out. There's nothing underneath. It's just kind of bolted to the top of the rail there. And then this will help us also be able to get our XY joiners on a little bit easier as well. Oh, geez, that's on there tight. What did I do? Let's get an Allen key. Oh yeah, you like it? Excuse me. Yeah, these are on with some Loctite, and so trying to get it off with a tool didn't work, so I need to use an Allen key and actually get some leverage on there without stripping things. Alright, come on. There we go. Sorry if I'm not talking as much as usual. I'm pretty irritated with this whole thing. This was not as easily assembled as some of the other things. This is probably one of the more complicating, frustrating builds you could do, in my opinion. It's the amount of different hardware, the restricted access, the order of operations, the wiring was, oh my gosh, that was probably the most frustrating part of it, because they send you all the parts with wires and stuff, but everything is too long, so you have to trim everything, recrimp everything, and if you're not used to that or prepared for that, you're gonna have an interesting time. I think it took me 2 days, 8 hours over 2 days just to get all the wiring installed in the machine, trimmed to fit, that kind of thing. And it is oh so tempting to not do that and just shove everything in a box and close it. But it's a lot. Okay, this should come out of here. There we go. Now, great. Move this over to where we can access things. We'll have let's clean up the workbench so I got some room here. I've got a desk full of random crap. Okay. Let's do some of this. Let's move some light. Alright, let's move that. So I've got parts sort of laying about everywhere. I should be better, but I'm still growing. I'm still on my journey of organization. I've taken a serious detour the last week. Okay. What else? We need gantry over here. And then we can do this over here. Alright, so my goal is to not have to redo everything. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to need to replace this piece here. And that's fine, I think I can do that, but here's the crazy part. To get access to the 2 screws you need, you've got to take this off, and most likely the extruder. So you're basically tearing it all down anyway. And that's... it's frustrating. And then we still have to take the carriage off on this side as well. So, well, I guess we just go for it. What I'm going to do real quick is just go back through all of the stuff here. Okay, we've taken that off. Taking that off. Let's see. Yep. So just to get to the parts, I've got to take off these 2 screws under the extruder here. and then I had to remove the beacon because the clamp is on the top side, so it's sandwiched underneath the fan duct. Okay, all of that should be good. Should be good. Those two screws right there are what I'm talking about, because as soon as I put those in, what you do is you put this fan duct on and your belt kind of wraps around. But what happens is those get covered up with your extruder, sits right on top of those two, and then that vertical mount sits on top of the other two. And so you have to tear it down a lot more than you normally would. What the hell? Give me the right tool. There's that one, and then this one here, so that you get the one inside this hole. There's another one down inside this hole, and those go down into that main plate and then into the printed part. Not to mention you still have all of your connections for your tool head board here, just to be able to remove that. And there's a screw underneath the tool head board for the extruder that you can't really access without removing the board, but I'm gonna try to sneak in there with a ball head. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So we gotta take the board off. That's what I mean when I say like the order of operations on this thing is not the best. Going to loosen 3 of these all the way, and then just slightly loosen the other one. I'm hoping that'll allow me to rotate this enough to be able to access that 3rd screw behind the board. So I take this all the way out. Hoping I can just pivot that, but we're still stuck. I think I might just, while I'm in here, swap all this out with nicer hardware. Yeah, so that should be able to slide in there and grab that screw. Yeah, I've got some stainless hardware. I'm probably just going to swap it out. This oxide stuff is not great. Alright, get that one out. Great. So that's loose. Should now be able to get these back to. These go through the fan and then into the lower duct back here. This is an extra part that I found on printables and printed out. It's not a stocked fan cover. This one has this extra piece here to allow you to route your cables up and over that fan. I preferred that one. And this is where things get even more weird, where now we can have to take 2 more out to be able to get this thing. There are 6 screws in this tool head for the fan duct. So I think if I just loosen these up and leave them in place, I'll be able to remove it. Okay, I think that's separated. Great, and so now I can get to these top 2. So again, we have to remove the extruder to get to the other 2 that hold the fan duct in place. I mean, this is almost built like you're never going to service it, or you're never going to take it apart again. Alright, so that comes off. Some junk in here. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so I think my forward fan duct here needs to change, maybe? I've got my parts here. So again, these are fine being in black ABS. The fan duct itself is what I wanted in PPS, and that just sort of mounts to the front of that guy like that. That will be the melty bit, if anything. So now we take off these two here. I think these are 50mm long flathead screws. And they're fun to put in. One of them holds the belt, the other one is just the clamp. What I need to look at is to see if I need to replace this part or if I can reuse the fan duct portion, because that would mean heat insets and removing hot end, that kind of thing. I think I work good though. Should be able to take that off of there. What are we hanging up on here? Oh, of course, it's the end stop. It's holding things together. What else? What else? There she goes. So bottom just drops off. That takes the belt out, like so. Here, what did I drop in there? A screw? Okay. Yeah, so really all I want is this fan duct here. And then I need to recover the belt out of that. Two back here. Yeah, this is much easier to do this on the bench top than inside the machine, I'll tell you that. Inside the machine, up on a stool, that was not fun. Alright, let's get all this hardware. Okay. So yeah, this is the hard part, right? Like, how do I get this belt out of here? That first one was not playing nice. Actually, let me make sure that I even need to. So this is an IDEX part. It's called the IDEX back, I think is what it's labeled. This is standard, and on the right is standard. So I can already see a difference with this portion here because you see that second belt doesn't run through. So there's no need to have that portion removed. So I definitely need to use this. It looks like there are two different tensioners back and front. So I think I do need to swap that. The other portion here, this is the non-IDEX version of the front, and it looks like I need two, so I'll steal both of the CNC'd hard points here, but two heat inserts. I need two heat inserts in it. So I'm going to need to heat up and remove the ones I have because I don't have any spare M4 heat inserts. And then we have to do some here. Yeah, so I guess we'll fire that up. I'll be honest, guys, I didn't think this was going to be as involved. I thought this was going to be pretty straightforward. Remove the gantry, replace the parts. It's turning into a lot more than I expected. So I hope that we can finish this up today, or at least get the gantry reinstalled, if not the belts. But I'll go as much as I can. My mic might die and I don't have a spare. So we'll go, I don't know, roughly 3 hours-ish. We'll see. Screw the 50mm M3 screw into the tensioner and tap it out. We could try that. I tried to push it through with a tool, but I think tapping it might work if I massaged it with a hammer. I mean, I'm tearing this thing down so far right now that I might as well just take it and blow it all the way apart, because otherwise it's just, I don't know. That's probably best. Just take it all the way down. and then we'll follow the guide for single tool head to get it back up and running. Alright, so extruder comes out there, that one there. We've got tool head fan. This is the pain in the butt one. This is for your in stop. Okay, and then thermistor here. And then we need a small driver for that one. Got this guy here. Hey, zombie. That's right, I forgot you got gifted a membership on Sunday. Welcome. Yeah, we're tearing down the RatRig Gantry and going back to single tool head versus IDEX because I couldn't really get IDEX to work well. Input shaping was terrible and prints were terrible. So we are going to redo all that. And it is not easy. I've been very frustrated all day trying to get this thing working well. The number of different tools and different sized hardware that you need is frustrating. It's like every different set of parts needs a different size tool. So I'm whining, I'm being angry. We need to, yeah, we're gonna have to, I think we might be able to keep the tube in place. How is this held on? Nah, tube needs to come out. So we have the quad motor still? I think so, zombie. I want to try with that. I want to try with the hybrid and keep that in place. If that does not work, I will likely take it down to Core XY, but then add a mod to have the front two motors be added on as an all-wheel drive type system. If I can do all-wheel drive, I think that's fine. I think it'll give me a similar amount of performance without the complexity, because if I think about it, hybrid is adding additional tension, torque, and motion to the y-axis only, whereas all-wheel drive hits both axes equally, and so belt tension and all those things, input shaper, everything else should be equal. And so theoretically it should be better. What size is the printer? It's a 300. Hey, Bearded Printer. Thanks for subscribing and becoming a member. We're working on the RatRig today. I did see, and I'll address this, I put a post out seeing what you guys wanted to work on. Turns out this was number 2. So RatRig was number 2 for what you guys wanted to see. It seemed like the majority wanted to see inertia cube. And I made the executive decision to work on this one instead, because I really want this one working. I need this one working more than I need the inertia cube working. And so, potential for another members only stream, working on the inertia cube on next week Friday, if I get that day off. If not, I'll do it for you guys on Monday, because that'll be Columbus Day, and I am not at work. He said rigged. Yeah, it's definitely rigged. I rigged it in my favor to work on what I wanted to work on. But this is the older of the two builds. I built this before I built the inertia cube. And so it's only fair that I spend some time over here. Plus, I knew this one was going to be kind of frustrating. I didn't anticipate it being this frustrating. I've essentially had to tear out the entire gantry. I've got to redo the entire wiring in the back of the printer. And a bunch of other things. So this one was much more involved than what the inertia cube needs. Inertia cube just needs a new mainboard. So that's rerouting some wiring, maybe doing some config stuff. This is all of that plus gantry mod, etc, etc. Alright, I think... So we're replacing these XY joiners anyway with the stuff we got from Mandela Roseworks. And so to remove the carriage, it's probably best to just remove the ends to get this carriage off of here instead of removing the rail. And that'll help me maintain the alignment. I think that makes sense. I just want to take note of the way this is set up. So we've got in the front lower, in the rear upper, and then the opposite over here, in the front upper, in the rear lower. So the way that I'm going to maintain continuity is do one at a time. Let me make some space here. I've got crap everywhere. This workbench is 5 foot long, and there are parts, pieces, screws like this all the way down. All the way down. You haven't really seen anyone have a great experience with the latest RatRig printers. Thoughts? I would agree with what others are saying, Zombie. I was not getting good input shaping. I was not having a good experience with just filament drag in the path. There's not a filament buffer on it stock. I did get one of these, so this is the Mellow Triple L Plus. I was planning on installing this to help with some of the feeding issues I was seeing. And of course I'm using the oversized Bowden tube. So it had, what's it called? 3mm inner diameter tube on it. And it still was sort of seeing some drag. And, you know, pair that with crappy input shaping and not really having IDEX work well and all that kind of stuff, I just decided to not do it. So rather than have a, you know, $3,500 machine sit and not get used, I'd rather rebuild it and use it. I can reuse the tool head number 1 for other projects. I'll just use the extruder on something else. I'll use the tube on something else, and we can save the fans for spares. I do need to remove these heat inserts though, because for whatever reason RatRig feels like they need to use M4 heat inserts. That's not a common size, something I don't have spare, so I need to pull it out of this one and out of the other tool head. And then insert them into the new one. Here and here. So didn't anticipate all of that, but that's where we are. I'm also going to get rid of... So that's the other thing I didn't really like, Zombie, is the hardware kit that comes with this is all the black oxide hardware. And so over time, these tend to get a little rusty. Depending on where you live. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's trash day, and I forgot to put the trash out. She's yelling at me. I'm sorry, I've been running late all day. Alright, so I'll deal with these heat inserts in a bit. Let's attack this carriage here. What if I just undo the center one? Will that allow me to slide this off the end? I believe so. See, again, here we are with the random hardware. you've got a like a 3mm here, and then on the bottom it's a 3.5. Like, why can't we use the same hardware across the whole machine? Like, that's the frustrating stuff. Like, just use the same freaking hardware. Alright, so that comes off pretty simply. That should allow us to remove this carriage, but I'm gonna get a slidey block thing to save that. Where do I've got one somewhere? So I gotta get past the machine here. Be right back, folks. Let's try to figure out where I put this. So they give you a block to save your extra carriage with, and I have it. So when you get it, they just give you the 2 carriages, and you can choose whether you want to go hybrid and IDEX and all that stuff. So they give you this block to save your carriage on. And that's what I was looking for. So we'll just slide that off onto the block, and there we go. So that way we don't lose our balls. And then from here, I think I can just put this in this. I'll get this extra little baggie. Put this in here. And hopefully that'll stay safe. I'll probably just save this one as a spare for the rail. If we ever, I don't know, break something or it gets worn out, just swap that out. Okay, don't lose this. How do I... yeah, so we'll install one of these at a time. Let's get the new parts out. So I've got these XY joiners for the V-core, and then we have some CNC'd blocks for the hybrid system. I don't know which is which, but I assume if it's on the right, that means it's for the right side. If I pair that up with the old one, I mean, it makes sense to me that this bearing would go here, and that bearing would go there. I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me. And I don't know what goes down through the center, but and then you have your 2 on the bottom like stock. So I think this goes on like that. What is this for? Oh, that must be our hybrid system belt lock. So it kind of just wraps around the screw and then you tighten this in. I wonder if I can put that on there, because the hole pattern doesn't line up with the screw pattern. So I don't know that I'll be able to even use these. Oh well. I mean, I would have liked to. Okay, I think we need to disassemble all this as well. There's a couple of set screws in these green parts that hold this ooze guard in place. And of course, it's a different size hardware, so you need an even smaller tool to get in there. So you go down to a 1mm to be able to get in there. Actually, no, it's a 1.27. So another instance of needing every tool you own to work on a RatRig. So I'm just back those out. I plan to try and reuse these parts because I don't want to print new ones and I don't want to lose heat inserts. So I'm just going to take this off. Sorry, I can't hear you. Oh. Gotcha. So take those off of there. This is M4 hardware. I've got more, but I don't think in the correct length. These are like M4 by 6s or something like that. And the ones that I have are like 16s. So again, we're back to another tool just to get this hardware out. So there's that. I don't need these plates anymore. So if someone is in need of a... Why does that not want to come off? In need of like a plate kit or anything like that for a build, reach out to me. I've got all of the stock plates that have been replaced, and they can be yours if you want them. Oh, because we put lock nuts on them, that's why. Alright. So I just tend to hold these, and we can undo them from here. Yeah, I hope I didn't screw up that part too much. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I thought maybe there was like a hexagon pattern in there that I stripped out when I tried to turn this the original time. But it turns out no, it's just a hole, so it's fine. Okay, so that goes that way. Probably not going to reuse this because there's no mounting point for it here. The only ones we're going to reuse are the ones that hold the bearings in place, and it appears that they need to be a lot shorter than what they currently are. So, let me see. I did not plan for that. So I hope I have some M4 hardware that's going to work. And if not, I'm going to be a little upset. Probably because I'm already frustrated at this whole stupid build. Got some M4 hardware, I just don't know if it's the correct M4 hardware. So we'll kind of have to deal with it as we go. I've got some M4x12s here. I think what we should probably do is look at the RatRig, oh sorry, not the RatRig site, the Mandela Roseworks site, and see if that's going to work out. Let's clean up the desk a little bit. Move all of this crap. Got parts and pieces everywhere, team. Okay. Rid of that. Alright. So if I go to Mandala Roseworks and we look at the tool head, yeah, the tool head. We're looking at RatRig and upgrade parts. And these here, there's a link for instructions. And this is going to be a PDF, so let me get you a PDF version so you can see what we're looking at. All right, let's go here. All right, these are the instructions. It says I need all these tools. Great. I've got spacers, self-source. What? Will it not accept the ones that I have? Let's see. So the ones on the machine it's already are the correct size, but they're like 15 long, not 8. Well, I don't think I have the right spacers for this. This is not turning out well. Yeah, I did not get additional spacers. And I guess we need socket head screws, which I have. M3s, I've got that. Slim nuts, I have those, or heat insert for IDEX. I'm not doing IDEX. I'll cover all the bearings. Socket head screws, I'm pretty sure I have that. M5 square type. Yep, so we've got those. Let's see, if using a titanium tube, this nut spacer is a starting point. Adjustments may be necessary. Let's see what that has to do with. Just looked at the site, too bad they don't have the tool head plate for the V-Core or the Minion. They don't know, but I think you can get it from Luke's Lab if you're going to use a tube, or I think RatRig US has it. I've got 2 tool head plates, so if you need one, I've got one. Actually, I've got 2, and then the other one that we just took off will be a spare for the tube. Alright, these plate block things. Okay. For a T-nut holder for titanium tube. Okay. I do have that other tube that we were unable to put on when we were doing the original build because I couldn't get things to align correctly. And so maybe we swap out for that. It's a lot more work. I gotta remove the entire rail at that point. But also don't want to do this twice. But then my third thought is I don't have a lot of this hardware either, like especially these spacers right here. I don't have those. I think I have pretty much everything else. I should have read this note. Like maybe this should be at the front of the instructions. Like I would put that note right up top. Alright, let's see what we have. Assembly steps. Loosen the arms, look inside the joiner. Loosen the single screw that holds each of the 3 arms to the side. Do not remove them. Just loosen enough so you can move the arm. Okay. I can do that. Up top, in bold, highlighted. Correct. Correct. I still want to try and get as far along as possible, but I have doubts we're going to be able to finish because of the hardware limitations. So what's really going to happen is I'm going to get as far as I can, and then I'm going to go in the house and say all the cuss words. That's probably what's going to happen. Okay, so we can go through the little slot. That's cool. Go through the little slot and get into that hardware there. So you see those extra screws? That's what they wanted us to loosen up, and I believe that is to allow some adjustment up and down like that. So you can get your bearing stacks in there and then clamp things down vertically, and before you sort of tighten them horizontally into the bracket. So same thing for this one here. Let's loosen that up a bit, and then on this other side we can go through the opposite access hole and get that. So I'm just using a ball-end driver, and this is a shorty, so if you had a longer one it might be a little better. But yeah, those are loose on there like they should be. But now I need to, so these are those spacers that I thought were going to be good, but it turns out they may not be. I don't even know what I need them for, because if I'm doing bearing here, why do I need a spacer unless it is to put beneath this one as support? And if that's the case, I feel like I could just print that. You know what? Well, we should probably just get that started. Like, I'll print some. I don't need them to be aluminum. I do remember I had to buy spacers for the XY pieces. Yeah, I bought spacers for the XY pieces, but I don't think they were 8 millimeters long. I want to say they were like 16 or something like that. I remember them being a really odd size. I just wish that MRW would include those. I feel like they're easy to make. You can just throw 2 spacers in the box. Let me get into the slicer here. There we go. We'll run this off on the X1 carbon. Actually, we can do them on the H2D. I'm just looking at what filament I have loaded in what, and this will be a little bit of fun. So if I don't want to buy spacers, what I can do is just make them here in the slicer. What I can do is, let's sync filaments. All right, so I got some generic black ABS in there, and there looks to be just enough to do what I want to do. So what I will do is we can just come in here and add a primitive cylinder, right? And we can scale this. Let's make it number 6 so it's black ABS. And we'll scale it with the scale tool to be, they said 10 OD, so 10 diameters. We're gonna uncheck uniform. So 10 OD with a M5 internal, so I'm just gonna do, let's say 5.3. So we have, actually no, it needs to be 10 on the Y, and then for Z height they said 8, so we'll do like an 8.2 for shrinkage. And there's our spacer, but now we need to make a hole in the middle of that. Why does it say 10 by 10? All right, let's restart. I don't know why that said 10 by 10. Anyway, 10 here, 10 here, and then we'll make it 8 what do we say, 1? Actually, we can make this 10.1. That way we just account for the shrinkage of ABS. We'll just give it that 0.1 extra all the way around. And that should be our cylinder. And from here, I'm going to center that up. So it looks like it's already centered because it's grayed out for me. So coming in here, we're going to add another primitive. So we'll add a negative part, and it's going to be a cylinder. Okay. And you can see it's kind of like a shadow version of it. And that's because it's going to cut away anything that it overlaps with. And so we'll just size this for the hardware we plan to use. So again, we'll come in and scale, make sure uniform scale is unchecked. I know that it's got an M5 hardware based on what the specs were on the PDF. So it's at a 5mm inner diameter with a 10mm outer diameter. So what I'm gonna do, again, just to create some wiggle room in here because it's only a spacer, I don't need it to be exact. I'm gonna go a little bit larger to ensure that the hardware can just slide through. So I'm gonna go 5.3. And we'll do the same in Y, 5.3. And then for height, it doesn't really matter because it's a negative cutout. So having it be 35 is fine. And I can move it. I can move it vertically down so it'll be beneath the plate. And so what I'm gonna do with it is just, after I move it, we can right click it and center. And so both of those are in this dead center of, hey Steve. Thanks for coming in and checking out the shite show that we are putting on today. This RatRig is annoying, so annoying. So yeah, we're just making some spacers in the slicer right now because I didn't pick any up. Chaos time, you're right, chaos time. So once we center both of these parts, I've got my negative space aligned in the center with our tube, our cylinder. And so once I slice the plate, they're going to cut away each other, and there I have a spacer that I didn't need to buy. And because I need 2 of these, what I can do is come in our timeline over here, select the parent, and it's going to select everything. And we can just make this whatever we want it to be. So as far as strength and all that kind of stuff, I think stock is fine. We'll do a little elephant foot. We'll make some precise walls and some precise Z height because I need that to be relatively accurate for what we need. There should not be a prime tower, so we'll turn that off. This is making you want to do an LDO 300 trident and throw a tube metal gantry. Zombie, I'm not against it. I reached out to someone selling a 350 V2. I have a couple of all-wheel drive kits down here that I want to compare. One from LDO, one from Vitali. And I thought that doing an entire build with one would be great. And so maybe we'll use the extra tube and the extra, where to go, Orbiter 2 on this other build. Alright, so we have our part. I'm just making it good for what we want. I'm probably going to do 4 walls. We'll use standard printer build settings on this one. So 4 walls, 5 tops and bottoms. I'm probably going to up this to be crosshatch because that's what I prefer to use, and then we'll use that same 40%. This thing is so small that I don't know it matters very much. Shell thickness, great. Let's see. We can do some circle compensation on here. Precise wall, precise Z height. Let's see, if you want to have tighter or looser, you could set this value. When it is positive, indicates tighter, negative is looser. So if you made this exactly the same size that you needed and you wanted to adjust slightly, you can make a change here in customize offset, and that would make your holes a little larger, a little smaller, whatever you would prefer. Because we already scaled to the level that I think is okay, we can do that. We can leave that one alone. We'll do 1 wall bottoms. Sure. Yeah, we're just doing this on the fly. Speeds and whatever should be fine. Don't need support. Don't need skirts. Not using a prime tower. Great. Okay, so now that we have that part done, what I can do is come back to object, select my part, Control C, Control V. Now we have 2 of these things. I'm gonna make a third just to have a spare, and we can arrange those on the plate. And yes, it is overkill to use an H2 to small spacers, but I don't really want to switch filament right now. I've already got ABS loaded. What would someone think? Think of if you picture dexterity in your head, nimble hands or an athlete. I would think nimble hands. Like those people that could take their hand and like fold it back to touch their forearm. That's what I think of. But that's probably flexibility. Alright, so about 24 minutes to make a couple of spacers. That should be enough time to do other things and stuff. We don't need any of that. And we're sending that over to the H2D. We'll check on that in about 24 minutes. You see that? And if you notice, it's 6 minutes to print the thing, but 24 minutes total time. That's how much it takes in time to get the H2D to start a print. So 18 minutes to start a print. Everything from heating the bed, heating the chamber, homing everything, calibrating everything, and then starting is 18 minutes. It's kind of a lot. But that's what you get with an H2D. Okay, I'm gonna continue just tearing this down, reclaiming all this hardware. I mean, what else do we have to do right now? This is what a V0 is for. You're not wrong, Steve. If my V0 were working right now, I would do it. If I had my antithesis plugged in, I'll just knock them out on there too. But I'd have to pull it off the shelf and plug it in. But you missed it earlier. I had the RatRig up on the bench top, and it was so tall that it was over my head to be able to get in there. And so I put it down on the floor, but on the floor is blocking the one path I have over to where my printers are stored. So I can't even get over there without much consternation. Steve, I know you were talking about building a RatRig. Be prepared for a lot of cuss words. Especially if you need to change anything after the build. I just couldn't get this one printing well, so we're taking it from an IDEX down to a single tool head and retaining the hybrid system. And in the meantime, since you have to remove the entire gantry to do that, I was going to just install some XY joiners from Mandela Roseworks, but it turns out I did not purchase the needed spacers. So you can see all the different spacers and pieces and parts for this thing. Like, that's a lot of... That right there is just in one of the XY joiners, all this hardware. So it's a lot of different hardware, a lot of different screw sizes, a lot of different tool needs. It's just a lot. And I don't know that it needs to be that complicated. And so for me, that's where I found most of my frustration. Don't need that anymore. Don't need a lot of this anymore. These spacers, right? So I feel like I should be able to reuse these, but with the MRW stuff, these are too tall. So I can't reuse any of this hardware. How tall are these, actually? You'll be taking apart an IDEX this weekend, too? Oh, you're doing back on Trident? Tridex? Yeah, so these are like 13. So they're about 5 millimeters too tall to be reused. So they'll go in the extra hardware box. Got one of these over here. Let's see, what can I put this in? Oh, I printed some extra torture trays for the V0, so I had this green gate filament was left over. I had just enough to do nothing with, and so I printed a couple more trays with it. Came out really good. This is on the FL Sun. Well, it's a very nice slice orange. We'll put all this hardware in here. I don't know what I need to reuse and what I don't, but I do want to have it handy. I know that I'm going to reuse the bearings. These plates are not going to get reused, but I have a hard time throwing away good hardware. So if anybody is in need of this hardware, let me know. I'll get it to you. I've also got the top plate. So this is the ones, so I had to buy these separately. These are for a tube, and I'm going to use one of them. So I'll have one spare if anybody wants a spare tube mount for a RatRig. I've got one. And then I also have the originals for IDEX. So there's two of these that are made for a Rapido. If you want one of those instead, let me know and I'll take care of you. Setting up a 2-tool Mad Max configuration on the Trimax. I love it. Waste not, want not, exactly. But at some point, Petty, waste not becomes hoarder. So it's a delicate balance. It's a delicate balance, and I have to remain light and lean for now because I may be moving. I don't know if you heard me say that already, but I may be moving in the summertime. To be determined. I'll find out in late November, probably around Thanksgiving or so, whether I'm moving or not. Don't want to move. Kind of like it here, but not my call. Just gonna press this through. There we go. That helped. I'll take this belt out. Want to give that a shot for your nebula? Phoenix Light. Phoenix Light doesn't sound too bad. If there was like... Phoenix is just too big for me. I'll be honest. I really like it though. If it were no bigger than a 400, I might be interested in doing a Phoenix. But 600 is way too big for my use in my space. But I get it. There are power users out there that might want something like that. Come out. Let's take this all the way out, I guess. Do you ever get used to the disruption of being told to pack up and move? I wouldn't say I get used to it. It becomes one of those things that you accept. I've moved in the last 23 years. I've moved 7 times. If I move again this fall, winter, whatever it is. This will be my 8th move. So basically it's every 3.5 years is what I'm averaging that I have to move. I don't get used to it. I hate it every time. They always break your stuff. But at this point, we just accept it. So these are also, like, if someone is doing a IDEX and you want these parts, these are PPS. You can have these as well. If not, I'm going to pull all the heat inserts out, and I got to pull them out of this one anyway to go into the new part. I did not heat up the iron yet, but I'm pretty much going to destroy this part to get this out of there, so I'm considering just breaking it and taking that out of there. But it's PPS, so I can't just, like, I can break it there, but I can't break it where I want to break it. Well, maybe I can. Let's see. Hey, there we go. And we'll save that and get the rest of those out of there later. But I need that right there. Nope. It's just gonna keep breaking in the, like, along the layer lines around what I need. Come on. There it is. We didn't even need the iron to take it out. That's only like $8 for the part. We'll keep that piece, recover that one. These pieces can go in the garbage. Yeah, Raffle's still around. If you guys are not familiar, Raffle is still happening. Streamlabs reminding everyone that the raffle is live right now. Tickets are $10 each, or 6 tickets for $50. All the money goes towards helping 3D printing elves give kids toys all year long, not just Christmas. So they've delivered over 11,000 toys this year, and they just did another delivery, so they're probably over 12,000 at this point. I just need, like, a handle, so I'm a... that's too big. Some 12s here. It is the West 3D showroom at West 3D. Building 600 now, it will double as a tabletop. Really? Are you building a 600? What printer are you building that's a 600, Steven? Oh, a Venture XL? Goodness. Good luck with that, man. I don't have the room for that kind of stuff. I probably would if I didn't have so many machines. But, yeah, I'm just not... You guys didn't say anything. I just noticed the cam up top is, like, upside down and backwards. Stop it. This one here needs to, let's see, needs to flip that way, and then flip that way. There we go. We can adjust this a little bit this way, and that way. That way we can make it a little bigger. You can see it's just sitting down on the floor right now. Cool, now I need to get this other heat insert, because again, there are no spares in a RatRig kit. So if you lose your hardware, throw it out, whatever, you're SOL, as they say. And the tube, actually, this is tube hardware here. These are all Torx screws. You could use flatheads if you like, but these belong with the tube, so I'm gonna hold on to that. And so now I've got a spare tube, and then when I rebuild the stinger, which also has a tube, I'm gonna take the tube out of that as well. So I have 2 spare tubes for projects. So I guess there's some good in all of this frustration. Recover this fan. Yeah, the mess that's on this desk right now is the mess that the entire desk is. Don't like it. It's not how I operate. But that's what you gotta do to rebuild this thing. Steven, I'm curious, what made you get an Adventure XL? Like, what are you printing that Adventure XL is required? Or is it just something that you just wanted? That over there. Okay, so recovering this guy here. Let's see if I can crack that. We'll crack it again, like so. There we go, and that was a lot easier. That's what I tried to do on the first one. And we get that back. Great. I'll put that over here to recover all the rest of those heat inserts. And then these 2 I can put inside the new part. So I'm just trying to clean up a touch here. So many tools everywhere. I'm getting, my eyes are sort of going crazy. What made you get a stupidity? Planning on droids and armor, but did the toy maker Mechagodzilla scale it up to 7 feet tall. Dude, that's awesome. I would love to see that when you get done. You'll have to drop it in the Discord for me to check out. Okay, I think... I don't even... Oh, that's the extra, yeah. Alright, so that is all of that. This goes here, these go here, these are extra. Can't use them. I'm gonna reuse the green one, not the black one. I'm gonna probably reuse this as well. But let's see. Spacers are still printing, so we can't really do that yet. Let's see. I guess I could tear down the other end of this. And I wonder if we should have printed some inserts for the lightweight gantry rail. The one that I got, I think, is titanium. I don't remember. But I did see the parts on printables there that we looked at a minute ago. Let me see if I can pull this tube down. Get over here. Let's see, where did I put it? It's one of these containers, this guy here. So if you can remember back a couple of months, if you were around on the channel and we built this initially, I ended up getting this tube for the build, and I ended up not using it because the spacing was just off. So it's a lightweight thing. It's aluminum square tube, supposed to be for this build, but they have you measure sort of the interior diameter and the outer, and then you print one of like 100 different variants of the part, and no matter what I tried, I couldn't get it to work right, the insert that you need, and so I ended up not using it. But now that we're rebuilding the gantry anyway, I sort of want to try to do this. I don't know. We'd have to print some more parts, and that's just going to delay things even longer. It is lightweight compared to this 2020. I also have to take the rail off, transfer that over. But again, we're already here, so this is not going to be finished today. I don't know that the batteries in my mic will last. This really is like an 8-hour build. So spacers just got finished. So I'm gonna let those cool. While those cool down, we'll remove this other side here. Let's see. Let's just do it this way. Too small. The frame is 40 inches wide for the... Jeez. Eventually we'll get index. That's cool. I was thinking about doing index on this one. I think that would be great to have index on here. Alright, so we can move this out of the way. Still want a bid. Yeah, that Beetlejuice one is awesome too. So I have the Mecha Godzilla. I have the... What's the one that looks like the Power Ranger thing? You know what I mean? It's like Angel something, because they can't use the actual name. But it's a Power Ranger looking Toy Maker 3D. But I have that one, the Mecha Godzilla. I've got the King Kong looking one, and one other that I don't remember right now. It might be Beetlejuice. I don't remember. And a couple others. Yeah, they're very cool. Yeah, like I said, I can only run probably 3 printers at a time without tripping breakers. And so I wish I could employ, 10 different printers whenever and just have a Mecha Godzilla knocked out in a day. But right now I'm running orders for Halloween. Hello. Making a mess in here, I'm sorry. Let's see, we need... This middle one can come out. Put that back into the tray. Here. And I might as well put all this in here as well. Yeah, there's a Sakura kit over here I need to finish. I can go there. I'm not talking to you, sorry. That's funny, the wife's out here in the garage and I'm talking to you all and she's like, what? Like, I'm not talking to you. All right. Yeah, I think if you're gonna do what I'm doing, like say you already built this thing and you're gonna change to something else, it's probably best to just tear it all the way down and restart. Seems to be the best way to do it. It's easier to follow the guide that way. You're not trying to work around accessing different things. Might as well just tear it all the way down. Problem is, it's going to take a long time. And it's a lot of different hardware. Alright, already going like 2.5 hours almost. Yeah, sorry we couldn't start on time this morning. But I appreciate you hanging out, all 19 of you. I'm probably going to make this live, I don't know, next month for the masses. But I feel like you all get the behind the scenes better stuff. And I dropped something. I heard it go. I don't know what it was. I'll probably do another one of these next week, I think. Another members only stream. And we'll actually do Inertia Cube. And on second thought, that, you know, that's probably the better call after today's shenanigans. Alright, covered all of those pieces. I heard something fall over here. I don't remember what it was. Alright, there's all those spacers. We'll cover that hardware. Put that plate somewhere for use. These parts I don't need, so we'll recycle all of those. Great. So let's try to... This is all lightweight aluminum hardware. Like, that feels like a piece of cardboard as far as weight goes. It's so lightweight. But when you add everything together, that's when things get sort of heavy. Okay, so I don't want to throw these parts away yet. I want to hold on to them until I can figure out if this gantry is going to work or not. So I have a feeling what hit the floor that I can't find is one of these shims. Because I'm seeing 3, but I should have 4. There's my other nut. And I'm not immediately seeing that, but I think I do have spares. I'm not super worried about it. Yeah, when we swapped out the workbench for the new one, it changed up a lot of my storage, and so I haven't really found a way to hang on to all the hang on to all of the different hardware bits and pieces. So these are not what we need. These are all crucial wire parts. So like the spare stuff that I took off. Just looking for my hardware. Here we go. I think what I'll do is, these are not the exact same diameter as those, but these are M5 shims with the correct thickness. They just have more surface area, so I think I could probably just swap all 4 out for that. In the meantime, let's see if I can print these other parts too. So those are already done. I need to remove these off the plate, make sure they fit. Just give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Let's grab these parts off the H2D. And we'll warm that back up to make sure we're staying hot. So 60 on the chamber and then 90 on the plate. Alright, so here are our slicer made spacers. These should work just fine. Again, there's not a lot of load, so you got our 3 spacers here. If I could hit the right button. Yeah, these are the ones we made. I think they'll be just fine for what we need. Let's see how accurate they became. Of course, I can't access the thing because the printer's in front of the stuff. We'll do it this way, it'll be fine. So these are measured out. They appear to be right at 8. I mean, I don't have calipers, but that should be good for me. Let's see if the hardware fits. Take our original screw here, and that is a slip fit like it should be. Awesome. Solve that problem with 3D printing. Very, very cool. All right, back over here. So we can make a new one. No. And then they said to go to whatever that Prusa site was and download these other parts. It says, because the inside dimensions vary so much, probably need to print one, then tune the scale in your slicer to get the outside dimensions to match the inside of your specific tube. Of course, modifying the scale with the slicer will affect how well the T-nuts will fit in the slot, so be prepared to do a little fiddling. 3 middle hole down the middle. You'll want to thread that hole with a screw, maybe even use a heat insert in the end if you are really paranoid. Sole purpose is to act as a handle. Got it. You also want to attach the handle if you ever need to remove the screws, as the part may want to fall into the tube if unattended. Notice there's a small anomaly on one of the faces. Did not print. Okay, so there's updated parts. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so this is just a T-nut holder that goes inside the tube. I know that I need 2 of these, so let's see. Let's see if that works. Open in Bamboo Studio. Yes, open in Bamboo Studio. See if that's going to open it up like it should. Hey, it works. I think that's the first time I've done that on printables, but it did not work actually. So it says download failed, unknown file format. So it actually doesn't work as intended. So let me download it the way that it normally does. And we'll bring that into the slicer the other way. Add this. There we go. And I know that it's going to be ABS, and I need 2 of them. And I should have thought about this when we were printing the other pieces, but what can you do? Alright, I'm just going to use this setting here. And we'll turn off any prime tower, because that's dumb. And we'll go with quality, and we'll look at some of the other things here. So precise C height. We use Arachne on this. Smooth walls, why not? 1 layer on the bottom. I think it should be good. Slice it up. 40 minutes for these 2 little parts. Well, might as well get started. Like I said, I don't know that we're going to finish this today on stream. I'm going to continue to work behind the scenes to get it done. But I don't think we're going to finish today. But what I can do is start to look at this stuff here and start assembling some of these joiners and taking a look at those. You can do it. I'll get it done today, but I'm saying like my battery on my mic is probably going to die. It gives me about 3.5 hours, 4 hours of time. So we'll see. I'm gonna go as long as I can. It's already 10 and I haven't eaten yet, so hunger is part of it. All right, let's see. Left joiner base arm C and right joiner base arm F. There's a socket screw through the arm. What? Pulley stacking into the base. Assemble a 1mm spacer, flange, pulley, pulley, flange, pulley. And then a 1mm spacer. Okay, so spacer, 3 bearings, another spacer, and use a M5 by 25 socket screw. I can do that. I can do that. Let me find my M5 hardware. Again, I should be more organized than I am, but we can't all be perfect. Got a lot of button head stuff. Not as many socket head things. 1 second. Let me find my other bin of hardware. I've got one of these full of hardware, and there's M5 stuff in here somewhere. So I have not gone through this to set up any sort of system of organization on this particular. So these are 10s. That's not going to work. We need 25s. These are all button heads, and these are spacers for M5. So nothing in there is going to work for us. And that's okay. It wants me to use socket heads. I think button heads are fine. I don't know why you could not use them. Look around for another second here, and then if I don't find what I need, we're just gonna go with what we have. So I think we're gonna just use what I have in here. These are 40s, 30s. How do I not have 25s in this? How do I not have 25s? All right, last look. So get a box of stuff from Bolt Depot. These are 20s. This is, again, more hardware I need to organize and put away. But I don't think I have 25 in here. This is RatRig with their random hardware. So those are 3mm. With their random hardware. Yeah. Geez. I didn't realize that I needed all this random crap. Checking one more place. If I don't have it in here, I simply don't have it. These are 30s and 16s. Yeah, so I'm going through like a cardboard box of just random bags of hardware that I have down here, and most of it is in 4. That's why I just kind of didn't sort it and just kept it in a cardboard box. But some of it is in 5. So again, I've got a bag of 20s, and I've got a bag of this here. Let's see if these are 25s. I'm really hoping they are. Let's see if we save the day here. Hey, they are 25s. So good on us for finding stuff. I just wish it was all in one spot instead of spread out in 4 different locations. I don't know how many of those I needed. I just took some out. Let's remove this out of the way. And this goes here. Got it. All right. Okay, back to PDF. Let's see what we got. So I've got some 25s and spacer, 3 bearings, and a spacer. And that's on the left joiner arm. Yeah, we really got to make sure that we're using the right side. Okay, so this is arm C and joiner base arm F. Okay, those two are the same. All of them are really the same, except one side has a spacer and one doesn't. It says use a small bit of blue Loctite on the end, then alternately gently tighten the cap screw and the arm screw, ensuring the arm is parallel with the base and not binding. Then tighten the M5 screw and finally the arm screw. I can do that. I think I can follow directions good enough to do that. Get the Loctite out here. Tape these RatRig doors closed again. I can barely get my hand in, just enough to get my Loctite, I think. I hope. Yes. Okay. Alright, so from what I can tell, all of these are loose like they should be. We're going to add in all these bearings on this side for both whatever XY joiner this is and the other one, and then on this side that's where we need that spacer. And looks like different hardware for that side. That's going to be 35mm hardware. And I'm pretty sure I have that accessible. Okay, so alright. I said I was going to swap these spacers out, and I have those here. Because I dropped one somewhere. I heard it go, I just don't know where it went. So instead of having mismatched spacers, we'll use what's in here if I can open this bag. Okay, so I'll just pull out what I think I need here. I think I need 8 of these. Not exactly sure, but 2 each side, 1mm spacers. Okay, hold that, and we'll do. So screw comes in from the top. It says add a little bit of Loctite to the end of the screw where it goes down into the aluminum. I'm using blue so that I can take this apart if necessary. And then we'll go through this ear, arm, whatever they're calling it. This is very fiddly, like trying to hold everything. Okay, actually no, see I almost messed that up. We go spacer first. Spacer first. I'm sorry if you can hear all those jets flying around out there. Today is an interesting day. Alright, and this goes on there. This would be easier, I think, if I had the heavy-duty idlers. Those are not stock with the kit. You have to buy those separately. Even if you build it from RatRig, it's going to be separate. What are you saying? You just figured out that you have to update Clipper to use? Yes. Good luck. Yeah, you have to have a relatively new version of Clipper to be able to run TNC AutoTune. And that's me getting distracted and doing that wrong, so I'll take that spacer off. Another bearing on first. Here we go. Like that. Move this in a little more. Without too much. And then that should be enough to grab onto the screw there once we get this washer in. This is not fun. It's very tedious. There we go. And then that screws in to hold it there. Okay. So that goes down. We want to make sure the ear is not binding. So we'll put that down. And I'm just loosely do this up. And that kind of works there, right? So just, I could still feel some wiggle in that ear. And it said that we should alternate between tightening the arm and tightening the ear. So let's snug that one. So it'll play. Turn that by hand. Then we'll get this one in till it stops. So there. And then once that is parallel and level, I can go full snug on that. Just make sure my bearings rotate, and they do. And so I can come back in with the side here, tighten down this little arm piece. Great. So there's one. This side is basically the same, except I'm using a spacer and an an M5 by 35 instead. So those are M4 hardware. I don't need that. This bag has our 25s. Our 30s are actually in a different container. I thought I had that a second ago. 30s. 30s, where'd you go? Got some 45s. And some 20s. Man, I feel like I just had this. What did I do with it? Sorry I'm so disorganized, folks. It's been a day and a half. Okay, this is what I was looking for, but these are 30s, these are 40s. If I use longer hardware, it's going to stick out the bottom. That is a problem because when I add on these wipers, I'm not sure if this is the right side or not, but when I add on these wipers on here, any hardware that sticks out is going to interfere with the part. And that's not ideal. But do I really need a wiper? Probably not if I'm not doing IDEX. So I'm kind of inclined to not even care that it sticks out. I feel like I just saw a bag of 30s and 5x30s, but I could be going crazy. This hunger is just driving me nuts. Dang, did I see 30s? It was in this box. I'll do one more check in this box here. 16s. 30s, here we go. We got 30s. We've got 30s. Okay. But it is actually 35, so I'm still wrong. I definitely did not see 35s anywhere. These are 30s, yeah. Dang it. We're gonna use 40s because that's all I have. And they'll stick out a little bit. I'll choose not to run wipers on it. And we'll have to be okay with that. So we'll use a couple of 40s. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, it'll maybe stick out a little bit. It's fine. Okay, this is gonna be difficult. So we'll try to hold that way. We'll go ahead and we'll do our Loctite on the end of this so I don't forget. And then we'll do kind of go through, we'll add in our spacers. Spacer, and then flange bearing, and then smooth bearing. One more flange bearing. And then finally our shim slash spacer. Like so, that goes all the way through. And then lastly, we'll put on our printed spacer. This is the one that we made in the slicer. And that goes into the bottom part. So that actually went together a little easier than the other one. So again, we'll just get this snug. We don't want to bind our little support arms. So we'll just push everything down by hand. We'll get this till it touches. And that does stick out a little at the bottom there. I don't care. At this point, I don't care. Alright, just going through, trying to snug down some of this hardware. Wish there was an access point on this piece to access that side, like there is here. Because going through this way is not going to work. Going through the bottom is like barely working at all. I feel like I'm rounding that screw, so we'll just get those snug, and then we can snug down our M5. We'll go to full tight on that one, make sure our bearings are moving, and they are. And then lastly, I can come in and just send home the M3 hardware that's holding the arms together. Like that. So there's one side. Those spacers are going to go through here, so again we'll have this tube we'll go through, but I need the internal pieces to hold the lock, not the lock nuts, the T-nuts in place. Alright, so the parts that we are not using are starting to add up. I've got several plates from before, and then a lot of hardware now. We're just not adding back to the build. So these here, not going back on. Fan duct, we've got more fan ducts that are not going back on, so it's quite a bit. Let's try to move this stuff that we're not going to use. Yep. Okay, let's do the other XY joiner. And yay, we can throw the box away. Okay, let's do the same on this guy here. So first, loosen up the arms, so we have some adjustability. Cool. So those are all loose and able to slide, which is what we need. And I'll do what I did before and start on this side here. Felt like that was a good process. Alright, so I'll need 2 of these spacers. And I know I need to not lose those, but we'll put them to the side. Okay, Loctite on this guy. Goes through the arm here. We'll do our spacer. Flange bearing. Smooth bearing. Flange bearing. But yeah, there are heavy duty idlers you can get that are not included in the kit, even though I feel like they should be. And they would just replace this bearing stack with a single smooth idler instead, and they call them the heavy duty idlers. I think Fabrico has them. You can get them at the RatRig US website. I just wish that they would come with the kit. I chose not to get them. I think the bearings will be fine, and if they ever do wear out, we can replace them with the heavy duty ones. Alright, so again we'll snug that down with a finger, and then snug down the M5, come through the extra space we have here, get our M3 just snug, send home the M5, make sure our bearings move, and we're good. And we'll finish up with the internal one. Great. Same thing on here. at our long M40 or M5x40. Lock tight that bad Johnny. And do the reverse over here. So again, we need some spacers. This should be it for now on spacers and M5 hardware. We'll do spacer on. Come on, fingers. Do your job. And then bearing. Stay. Smooth. I'm just pushing the M5 through a little bit at a time to try and use it as a way to catch sort of a lip of whatever we put on, while leaving enough space to get your hand in there and maneuver the next little piece. So like that, you have just a couple of millimeters sticking out, and that's enough to grab onto whatever spacer you put in there, as long as this other little arm piece stays out of your way. So you really need like 3 hands to do this. See what I mean? Alright, got it. Hold it. Okay, second arm down. Great. And then start the threading on the screw. And we'll just push everything down to... Oh, we forgot our spacer. Yeah, spacer goes on. Like this. Need more space, okay. Spacer goes on, and then we can screw this in. Those definitely like to bind, so just pushing things down with your fingers first is helpful. Once you get everything down, you can just sort of snug down your M5. It's really important that they are parallel so they don't bind or throw your belts out of alignment. So push everything down. Then we'll get to the inside ones here as best we can. Same over here. Once we get that, I can snug this and then do the same for the inside. Like so. There are 2 opposite stacks for us. And I remember that the on the right hand side it was on the lower in the front, and then on the upper on the left. So this is right, this is left, like that. Sounds pretty good to me. Now I just need those other parts to get done printing so that we can install this gantry. And I'm really taking a chance and hoping that they are the right size for what we need. I just want to clean up a little bit and make some room over here, because holy Christmas, I've made a mess. Alright, move this so I don't burn myself. Okay. So we're going back here. Yeah, so now we're looking good. Alright, so place the spacer on, we've done all that. Blue like tight. Should have done that. Got something that looks like the picture. Yes, we do. Attach hybrid belts to the joiner. Please see the video here on how to use the belt retainers on the XY joiners. Please note this video is not of the XY joiners, but it does demonstrate how to... The teeth on the belt must link into each other. Yeah, I think I know what they're talking about. I'm not really worried about doing any of that. I want to check in on our parts here. So about 6 minutes left on these, but looking pretty good. And if I go back to where we are in the build, these are the parts we printed. And I should be adding in like a screw like this to serve as a handle, is what they were saying. So we'll see how that works out. I think it was an M3, that's what they wanted. Yeah, an M3. Got plenty of those. So this is that. Alright, so pretty much we've already torn this all apart. The next logical step is to just start with the regular toolhead, so part 8 with the Core XY or hybrid, and just start from scratch. And so looking at what I need, appears to be 2 of our tensioners, and I have 2 because we tore apart the other toolhead. So just stealing the parts I need here. Sorry, so 2 parts in there's extra spacer, we got some heat certs we gotta do. What else do we gotta do? It was a tensioner. Oh, it was in the block that we didn't undo yet because it was stuck, like hardcore stuck. That's what it was. Alright, I should probably pull that out. Okay, so we'll pull that out. I did print a new back piece. I printed a new vertical piece, but I think the green one will work. And so I'm going to keep that. I did print a new Core XY fan bracket, and I'm going to reuse the tube ducts that we have. We'll have to redo all the heat inserts, and yeah, that's a thing. So cool. I've already got these, so heat inserts are installed there. Should probably start doing heat inserts on this one. So let me bring over the heat insert tool. Again, make some room on the desk. Things and stuff. Oh, it's not long enough. What's happening? Alright, the cord on my stealth press is not long enough to be doing what we're trying to do. Okay. I'll tell you what, just give me a second to clean things up here. There's so much crap everywhere that I don't know what I'm doing. And so if I'm going to be successful, I want to make room. Just one of those there. Keep all that. Keep all this. Okay, this is much better now. Move you down here. Okay. That's a little better for me and how my brain works. Okay. And then this guy can come over here. Alright, so I've got this part. These are our in pieces, so I need that one, and I need this one for heat inserts. We can reuse the duct, and then all of our fans and everything else are up here from before. I'm just going to switch outlets for the heat press, and we can use this with some side some power on this bench top here. There we go. So let's tighten this up a touch. Do your guys' heat presses ever get loose? Mine tends to get loose with like a few heat cycles or whatever. It makes all the things loose. So I gotta constantly double check that we're good to go. Okay, so I've got this one here that we couldn't get the belt out of, and I need to get the belt out so I can get the not only the belt but the tensioner. I'm trying to think of the word. And so I liked, somebody was saying that just put the screw in and tighten it down a little bit, and then try to use that to press out the tensioner. That seemed to work well on the other one, so I'm gonna try it again. and we'll see what happens. What I did is I just took Big Johnny here, gave it a smack, and that worked out. Yeah, so that pushed it a little bit. And then I think what I did is I just took the tool, put it under the lip, and pulled it out just enough to allow that belt to slide out. Like that. And then I think I took the screw here, and we just put it in that heat insert, and that acted like a handle so I could pull it the rest of the way out. So there we go. We recovered both of our tensioners now, and this belt should just come right out of here. There we go. And then I'll recover that long screw. And again, I'll go through and pull all these heat inserts out of here, unless somebody really wants these parts for an IDEX build. They're PPS carbon fiber, so if you want them, speak now, or I'm going to destroy them to recover those heat inserts. In the meantime, we'll get some new ones out. Oh, that was the other thing too. RatRig chose to use different size heat insets than what everybody else uses. Like, I don't understand the logic on a lot of those, like why you would do that, but they chose to do that. Alright, so looking at my chart over there, I've got these two, I've got 4 here. This one piece alone probably has like 10 heat inserts in it. But at least I thought I had enough to print these and didn't forget, like I did on the other stuff. I just heard the XY joiner parts finish. So I'm gonna let those cool a little bit. We'll get these heat certs in, and I'll bring those over and see if they even fit. If they are so out of tolerance that they don't fit, or they're way too loose, I really don't want to spend the time on stream figuring out what the correct size is for that. So we may just, I'm on the fence. May just use the 2020, or we'll figure out the right size to use that beam at a later time off stream somewhere. So I do need to start wrapping up. It's almost 11 o'clock for me. And I think the wife had said something about trying to do lunch somewhere, so I'm interested in lunch right now. Okay, so a couple of more here. Anybody else have a stealth press? Do you guys like it? Message sent, Steven, to me? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I'm a little sad I didn't do a stealth press a lot earlier. I do like it. It's a little unwieldy sometimes on certain parts, like the base of it, because there's no support under the base here. It's floppy, so when I'm pressing down, like, you get a little bend in the bottom plate, like this surface here. But other than that, so you can see like a little bit of bend in it. But I know there's an accessory to add a drawer or whatever, and I need to print that so I can just put all my heat inserts in the drawer. And then like all the extra heat press tips and stuff. But other than that, that's probably my only complaint on the stealth press. And then we got the, I think it's just the one here. Let's go back and look at the manual real quick. Yeah, so it looks like there's two, but these are screw holes, so it's just the one there in the center. Yeah, on Discord regarding, oh, you want the parts? Okay. Yeah, we can work something out. I'll get to you after stream here. I don't know that I'll be able to go too much longer. I have biological needs. So we'll do what we can do. Maybe get some gantry going. And then if there is any luck today, the parts we just printed will fit perfectly in here, and I can reassemble the gantry. But with the way the stars are aligning today, I would seriously doubt that. I guess I didn't get this one as flush as I would like, so now we should be good. Okay, so that looks like everything in that piece. Next one is the front fan here. So we've got, put that to the side. We've got these four in the front. Those are pretty simple. And it's almost easier to bring like the part up to the press for this because it's so uneven, like I can't sit flat. So do it like that. It's got a little bit of squeeze out, so we'll put that on the desk to flatten it out. Actually, I'm gonna use, what did I do with it? Oh, this guy here. We'll use our ruler as a place to flatten those things. Yeah, I'm hearing my phone go crazy over here. It's like so many messages coming through right now. Anybody else get that? Like you're gone from work for 1/2 of a day and people don't know how to deal, so they message you anyway when you're on vacation, like, hey, I know you're on vacation, but can you do this thing? I think that's what's happening right now. You're back. Where is the clutter on the floor? I don't have clutter on my floor. I usually do okay at that, not having it on the floor. But on a horizontal surface, that's where I'm terrible. So like my desk right now, because this RatRig is so many different parts and pieces with so many different tools to do a thing, it's really frustrating. I hate having a mess in my workspace. It's like my #1 pet peeve, and it's so distracting that it makes building not as enjoyable. I'm one of those people that cleans up as you go. And so right now my OCD is driving me crazy. I appreciate you making it worse, Aaron. The only clutter on the floor is the machine here. And I'm hoping to just be able to plug this back in and not have any issues. I know I'm going to have to do more firmware setup for the RatOS, but they make it pretty simple. I do need to remove the wiring for the toolhead though, which means I need to tear into the backside electronics, which is not the easiest. It's very tight space back there, and I had considered making a larger electronics box for it because it's just routed every which way. You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah, today is not a good day. I'm shook, as the kids say. Okay, so just the two gigantic ones in the side here. That's easy enough. Yeah, I just really wish they came with some spares on this, and there are none. Alright, and this one is only for holding in the CNC'd belt retainers. So that's just to hold that on there. It doesn't need to be a lot of pressure because you'll pull your heat set through. I've done that a few times on different things. Let's use that to prop that up a little bit. Yeah, these are M4 heat sets, I believe. They might be M5. It's hard to tell. They might be M5. Alright. So we should be set on all that. I'm just going to move this off to the side here, like everything else. Great. I think we are done with heat sets for now. So put those back. Let me grab the parts off the printer, and I'll be right back. Just move this guy out of the way. It's crazy, I gotta move the printer to get past it, and then I have to move the printer to open the toolbox. Because the RatRig is so wide. So wide. Okay. 2 new parts here. I'm hoping these fit our tube and they work well. Okay. 2 new parts. So the idea is that all of our slide-in nuts that I put over here, actually let's do it this way. Let's move all this stuff over. So these slide-in nuts are meant for 2020 and they work well. These are not the drop-in T-nut style, so you have to put these in. If you don't, you got to take it all apart and restart. But the idea is that these slide in here and you put them in place so that when your XY joiner, words matter, and your tube come together, that you can get some alignment in there. You kind of see that? So these are only there to hold these T-nuts. And so what I'm going to do is just sort of slide these in. You've got 2 on the bottom and 1 on the top. Sorry for the background noise if you can hear the aircraft flying around. But 2 in the bottom, right? Like this. And then just the 1 in the top like so. There's some adjustability in there. And that's why they tell you to use a long M3 screw. So we've got these long ones here. You just kind of thread this into plastic. And that serves as your handle. So of course it's a different size. So I'm just going to put that in there. I don't know, I guess as far as it comes out the end. I don't want to ruin the hole. And that's going to help you remove this if you ever need to remove it. We'll bring our bar back into play here. I'm going to install mine with the words up and then this way. So I'm seeing the logo in the front. Rail goes on the top here like that. This should go in and align with this hole and the 2 holes in the bottom. And I'm already telling that it is not fitting. So it's too wide this way to go down inside the hole. So you've got pretty much 2 options at this point. Scale this in the slicer in reprint, and that's another 40 minutes. Or file it and make it fit that way. The other thing I can't tell is if it's too tall. So I'm going to flip it around, see if it's too tall. Yeah, it looks like it might be too tall as well. Only by like maybe a ½ millimeter in each direction. So I'm not going to be able to get this on today, unfortunately. Oh goodness. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to waste everyone's time fiddling with all this stuff. I'm going to reprint some parts here. I really want to use that Gantry. Purchased it for this build, so don't want to just have usable parts laying around. So what we'll do in the meantime is, I think, sort of just rebuild the tool head for a little bit. We'll go for like maybe another 30-ish minutes and see what's going on. And then we'll go from there. I know that it wants me to install the plate onto the linear rail first. So I think what I'll do in the meantime is install this linear rail. And transfer it from the 2020 to this lightweight gantry. My whole plan for this early on was to just make it super fast. I didn't really ever plan to do, what's it called, IDEX. It just kind of worked out that way. And so if I don't have to, I can put the tube back on it, keep it lightweight here because the tube is pretty heavy as a hot end, and just trade one for the other. And maybe we can zoom again. Just need to find a tool here. So get this guy out so we don't strip things. The numbers are on here. Those are for other insert parts. So when you buy this rail, it tells you to go to printables, go to a certain make, a certain model, and measure what you have, print out a corresponding model, and then it's supposed to just work. In my experience, that was not the case, and so we never put it on, and I regret that. So I'm going to take the extra time and do it right now, while I'm already back in here tearing things apart. But also I thought with IDEX that a more rigid 2020 tube and the mass of this would sort of offset any downsides, bending stuff of this lightweight rail. And so that's why I didn't do it. But that's that. I don't need the heat, not the heat inserts, the T-nuts on the back of here though. So these all need to get removed. Gonna probably change out the hardware for not oxidized hardware, but stainless. I've got M3 screws down here galore. In one of these cases, this guy. Yeah, so we'll just swap out that hardware with some nice shiny hardware. Like I've been saying all stream, that's my pet peeve with this build, is that they give you mediocre hardware. They could have done better. So if I end up streaming, guys, on Monday, the 20 of you that are still hanging out, hey Robin B, thanks for making it in. We're getting close to wrapping up. I've been going almost 3.5 hours. So I'm gonna do, I don't know, another 10 minutes or so. But I'm considering streaming again on Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, or whatever else you want to call it. That is next week Monday, not 3 days from now, but the following one. Doing another member stream there, and hopefully we'll be able to do Inertia Cube that day. Dude, WTF, mate? That does not align whatsoever. You have got to be kidding me. Alright, let's double check our work. This is what I got from Fabrico. RatRig VCore 4 X Gantry, black. Okay, I know how to read. This is that. This is the RatRig rail. The holes in it did not seem to align a second ago. But maybe I jumped the gun there because they seem like they align now. Whew, I scared myself. Is it just me or is the carriage small? It is small. It's a Charlie, so it's a 12C rail. It's not a 12H. Why? I don't know. That's what RatRig uses to gain back a few millimeters, and so the plate mounts directly on there, and your hot end hangs directly off that with your cooling in the back, and then you build up a tower from there. But that's the stock carriage. So I'm going to use, so I think those are 8s that came out of it. I'm going to use, I think, 6s instead, because again, should be fine. The rail is thin enough that even with a 6, like if I look at that from the side, a 6 is enough to engage but not poke out. I think maybe 8s are the better call here. Good morning, the Reverend. He said odd. Yeah, that's what I've been saying all day, Aaron, is that this whole build is odd to me. There's a lot of choices, design language wise, that I think could be improved. Mainly the decrease in the number of bomb items you need. The amount of different hardware on this thing is atrocious. Like worse than the Prusa wire. Way worse. So I'm just running these in, and then I'll get the aligners out, and we'll make sure it's square on the rail. It's not like you could do much about it. There's maybe some adjustment in the rail holes themselves, but everything in the gantry is already drilled, so it's not like you're going to make a huge change there. And realistically, this is probably already aligned. Prusa wire is so simple. Posi is nasty for... Yeah, so positron, yeah, that's probably a better... Prusa wire was not terrible. I'm just saying there's a little bit of different hardware there. But it's, for the most part, simple and straightforward. Positron does have a lot of unique hardware. And some of the other things like the CNC'd portions make it difficult to duplicate without getting the kit, which is fine. I understand why that was done, to really maintain a high level of quality. You need accuracy on your parts, so that makes sense to me. But yeah, the hardware is different, but they gave you so much extra hardware that it kind of offset. There's no extra hardware, maybe one or two, a handful of extra screws or whatever, but there is no extra hardware for a RatRig. So if you're used to LDL giving you 10% extra, that's not going to be happening this time. Okay guys, I need to move the printer out of the way of the toolbox so I can get in here. My alignment things, blocks, are inaccessible where they are. Okay, so I've got these CNC'd. This works for 2020 and an MGM 12 rail. And so the idea is that you put these on there and you don't have to print them every time. This is already aligned. Like those went right on, no problems at all. So I tend to start from one side and go this way. I've heard of people starting in the middle and going outward. I'm curious what everyone else's preference is. Like, how do you guys do this portion? Do you start in the middle and go out? Or do you start on one side and go to the other? In the meantime, I'm going to look at what RatRig does. I think they addressed this question in the guide. I just don't remember. I'm going to move this out of the way so I can get over here. This is like moving a refrigerator. Only issue in having with your Prusa wire build is the dang Omron probe exceeding thresholds when meshing. Yeah, Robin, I think what Nomad was suggesting is the PZ probe from E3D. It is expensive though, and it's not something you can reuse from the original build. So it's a nice quality of life thing, but I mean, I don't know. I'm planning to use the original Pinda probe. PZ for the win. You was using what you had on hand. Same. I don't see this in here anywhere. So maybe it's in a different section. PZ is too much money. You lost your job. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, hopefully you can find something again pretty soon. Unfortunately, I think that is a lot of people these days is losing their job for all sorts of reasons, and it sucks every time. So sorry. Okay, I just want to see where the rail goes on. Alright, so screws and T-nuts. Yeah, so MGN 12C is what it is. I've already removed the extra one and put that to the side. We're here. Align the rail, great. Do the thing. I still have that jig. I don't think I threw that jig away. Yeah, so this is what they do. So fasten all the screws starting from the jig side. The orange arrow indicates the direction to follow. Do not over tighten as it can cause the linear rail to bind. Okay. So I need to put on the joiners before I can do anything else. Okay, we need to print new parts for that anyway. So I think we're gonna not do that on stream today. I'll have to print new parts, wait for those to get done, and then re-attack. So I think we'll probably have to call the stream. But some cool things coming up. I'm excited to share with you guys. Thanks for 18 of you making it to the end of the members only today. I'm gonna finish this up and get it going sometime between today and tomorrow. I'll give you an update on Sunday if you come back on Sunday and watch us get back on Prusa Wire. I'm hoping to finish that up on Sunday, but I'll do a brief recap of where I am on the RatRig. I will attempt to get it on video for you. Again, it lives in a really weird spot that's hard to film. But I'll give you an update on that, and then we'll finish up Prusa Wire on Sunday. And then if I have Friday off, I will do another member stream on Friday. If I don't, I'll do a member stream on Monday, and that'll be Inertia Cube for you guys. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that's an easy one, because that's just putting in the Leviathan mainboard and connecting things, doing a little firmware, and we'll do that together. So appreciate everyone coming out during the workday, lurking, watching, participating in chat to the extent that you can. Appreciate all the support and love. Thanks for being a member. Let me know what else I can do for you all to make your membership valuable. I'm willing to hear anything that you want. So just reach out, let me know. You guys enjoy the rest of your days, enjoy your weekends coming up. I'll see you on Sunday.